What is up, delightful humans? I'm Shannon Townsend.
And I'm Richard Townsend.
And you are tuned into the Married Marks podcast, where we talk about the ins, the outs, the ups, the downs, the greatest and occasionally the worst of professional graps news from around the globe. If this is your first time tuning in, thank you so much for joining us. We are super thrilled that you're here, and we hope that you stick around for a whole lot more. But if it is not your first rodeo, you know how this goes. We love you extra, extra hard. Whether it's your first time or your 144th, do us a favor. Like, subscribe, leave a comment on whatever site or app you're tuned in on today. It takes like 2 minutes. Go do it now. I'll wait. Thanks. We are part of the Inside Joke Outside Voice podcast network. You can learn more about them at ijov.net and visit our hashtag Podern Family. Shout out to Genius Pie for the Married Marks podcast theme song. Check them out on Twitter at Genius Pie. Find their amazing music and give them some love. You can find us wherever fine podcasts can be found. We're on Podbeans, iTunes. Is that still a thing? Google Play? I don't even know anymore. We're also on YouTube, so feel free to subscribe and follow us in all the places. If you're on YouTube, hit that bell notification to make sure that you get reminders. Shamash that button. Sorry, had to do it. We would love to hear from you. You can find us on Twitter at Married Marks, or feel free to drop us an email, marriedmarkspod@gmail.com. Use your words, people. Hello, baby.
Hi.
How are you?
Oh, recovering.
Dude, we went through some shit last night with AEW, didn't we?
Yeah, we saw some shit.
I feel like I've been through some shit. I need therapy. And by therapy, I mean Merlot. So yeah, today is probably going to be mostly about, actually almost entirely about AEW Full Gear, because this was I know I got some shit for saying inaugural pay-per-view, because technically Double or Nothing was kind of like, it's a thing. I get it.
Double or Nothing and All Out, this was their first post-TV pay-per-view.
Yes, which is still a big deal. So we are going to go through the card match by match. We're going to talk about our thoughts. We're going to give some opinions. And then we have some news about the aftermath. So let's get cranking, because I'm excited to talk about this. It was an interesting night.
Yeah, so let's actually start with the pre-show, or as they like to call it, the buy-in.
Mm-hmm.
So the buy-in was an hour long, but it only had one match. They did a lot of vignettes on the buy-in, but very little actual commentator talk.
Am I losing my mind? I thought there were two.
No, there was only one match in the buy-in.
I have not had that much wine, and I'm already blanking. You know what? There were a lot of vignettes, though. I think that's what threw me.
That's the thing. It was an hour long, and 46 minutes of it was vignettes, but very little with the commentators.
Right.
Not a lot of commentary discussion.
Very little
about the matches. It was like 10-minute long vignettes about the matches coming up, though.
And I did see a couple comments about this. I want to say this before I forget, because I totally agreed with this. Somebody on Twitter had made the comment that the vignettes that they were running felt very like real sports.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. They reminded me a lot of, like, if you watch the Olympics, they do these awesome vignettes on all the people before the matches, like, and the bouts and whatever, and it's really cool. It felt very much like that, or like when you watch college football, when they tell, the story of players, it felt very, it felt very like that.
If you want to stick to combat sports, very, combat sports like
they do for
stories
UFC.
For UFC or boxing matches.
Yeah.
So
it was nice. Like, it was really good.
I mean, it was fine. I didn't have a problem with it. Mm-mm. I mean, we sat there watching them all. Mm-hmm.
We watched everything. I put down the Untitled Goose Game to watch the pre-show. And let me tell you, I was having a whole lot of fun tormenting a boy and locking him in a phone booth. So I left that to go watch the pre-show.
So overall, I think the pre-show was fine. I think it needs a little adjustment still. I mean, it wouldn't hurt to have a little bit of discussion with your commentators, especially when, you had Taz, Excalibur, and Golden Boy to do the commentary for the one pre-show match, to only give Taz and Golden Boy like 12 minutes of time? Because that's about as long as that first match was 12 minutes.
Can I be real? They should have just let Excalibur talk on his own all fucking night.
Yes.
He was so good.
Excalibur is definitely the highlight of that commentary team.
There were a couple moments where we were like, "Oh, sir, channeling that Mauro Ranallo energy. I'm super into it." He really killed it. It was so good.
So the first match was Britt Baker versus Bea Priestley, and there was nothing really to write home about. I mean, it was an okay match. Nothing stuck out to me. I'm sitting here thinking about the match, and nothing is sticking out to me.
I'm going to be critical of this match slightly for a hot minute, and I will be completely honest with you that my reasoning that I was so critical of it was because, one, I was not super invested in this from a story perspective. And number two, I'm not a Bea Priestley fan. I'm just not. It's a thing. Bea undersold a lot of moves on this. I feel like Britt was trying to carry a lot of the match. Am I wrong? You can see that you're already like, oh God, Shannon, you're going there.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Bea Priestley is a better wrestler than Britt Baker.
Yeah, I don't disagree, but something was just not clicking.
But yeah, there definitely was something not clicking, and that included the audience.
Yeah, that is probably the biggest problem. And I'll be honest with you, that is the biggest critique I have is I don't understand the AEW live audiences and why they are acting like, they act like they just don't give a shit about the women's matches. I have some thoughts on that. We'll get to that a little bit later.
Well,
I don't want to...
That's something we've talked about.
Yeah.
And see, and I'm humored, not for your reasoning why you were not invested in this one.
Okay.
But I'm humored because...
You looked so concerned.
Out of the two women's matches, this is the only one that really had any storyline build up for it.
And it really wasn't great. It really wasn't great.
I mean, but yeah, the match itself, again, nothing really to write home about. It was an okay match.
Yeah. I have so many opinions about them trying to make Britt Baker the female face of the company.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it. I just don't like it. I think there's better... good Lord, they just signed Big Swole.
Well, here's the thing, though.
Fuck everything. Big Swole and Nyla Rose all day, air day.
Okay, well...
I'm biased.
There is a part, though, that you have to deal with, though, and that is that it is the face of the company.
I know.
So we need a good guy or a good woman.
Yeah.
We need a face to be the face of the company.
But why does it have to be Britt?
Because... I have my own opinions on it, and because I'm a man, I'm just going to shut up and keep my opinions to myself.
Fair. Totally fair. Because I get it. I get it.
I will say, though, that if this were Vince McMahon, I can tell you right now, Penelope Cruz would be the face of the company. Because that pushes all of Vince's buttons.
Yeah.
Leggy blonde.
I mean, Britt's kind of a leggy blonde, too.
Britt is a brunette.
Her hair she's got an ombre thing going on.
She has some streaks. But no, she's dark haired.
My point is, she white. And I feel she white.
Yeah.
And I just feel like there's more. I would rather have someone else be the face of the company. I just would. That's just my point. It's not going to happen, but yeah,
probably not.
Yeah. So this was a thing. It was fine.
It was an okay match.
It was decent. I want the AEW crowd to wake the fuck up.
Yeah.
And stop being
and they did.
Eventually.
For the first match of the night.
Mm-hmm.
So the first main card match was Proud and Powerful, which is Santana and Ortiz versus the Young Bucks.
I have so much to say here. You go ahead first, and then I'm going to unload because, oh my goodness, I have opinions.
No, go ahead. Lay your opinions out. I didn't have any issues with this
No,
match.
I have no issues with the match. It was a fantastic match. I'm happy with the outcome.
Uh-huh.
Here's my problem. We have spent, 3 weeks with them pairing P&P, I guess is what we're calling them now.
Proud and Powerful?
Yeah, Proud and Powerful. We've spent 3 weeks establishing them as Jericho's cronies. as bad guys, as heels. Why the fuck did they read his face in this match? Everything about that confused the hell out of me. It made no sense.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like a TikTok meme. That shit don't even make no fucking sense. Like, literally, it was just confusing as hell. I don't get it. Why do you spend 3 weeks building them as, like, these super heels and these bad guys? And then, like, even in the fucking vignette, they established them as these, like, uber, like, yo, we're proud about our home. We're proud about our heritage. We're proud about everything from where we came from. And we climbed to the top and we did this and we did that. Like, you wanted to support them. And, like, I don't fucking, like, I'm not supposed to want to support them because, like, they're heels.
And, not to get political like we did last episode, but you're with Jericho, who's trying to play this very conservative, rich dude, and you're Hispanic, you're Latino.
Their narrative is not matching with his narrative.
Yeah, you're
period.
Latino New Yorkers, and it's like, what?
Yeah,
how does this mix?
DJ Accident Report tweeted after that match, Eric Shorey, who's from Nobody's Watching Wrestling. If you don't follow them, please do so. They're delightful, and we love them to pieces. But Eric had tweeted, these guys read his face to me. And I'm like, you are so not fucking wrong. This is right. It is so confusing.
A lot of the face tropes in the first half of that match were all being done by Santana and Ortiz.
Right. And they were letting the Bucks do, like, heel tropes.
And the Buck was all the heel stuff.
Right? It was super confusing. Like, I don't know what they were doing, but it confused the hell out of me. It was a great match.
No, it was definitely a great match.
But it was very, like, I was head scratching most of the time. And I mean, I was only one drink in, so I don't think it was the booze.
Not a big surprise that Santana and Ortiz won the match.
Awesome ending.
Yeah.
I had no problem with it at all. It's great. I love them. Like,
and then they had their comeuppance because they, there was a whole thing with the fact that the Rock and Roll Express was sitting ringside to kind of harken back to when they kind of beat up the Rock and Roll Express a couple of weeks ago or last week or whatever.
Ricky needs to calm down.
But I'm sorry, Ricky Morton.
What the fuck?
Doing
Sir,
doing a
Tope?
Canadian Destroyer and a Tope Suicida. Damn.
I was just like, sir. Sir.
And
it was very good.
It was actually kind of funny because we were laughing about that whole spot, and I'm just like, I wouldn't want to be the person who had to catch Ricky Morton on that suicide dive, because that had to be done just absolutely perfect, because do you want to be the guy who didn't catch Ricky Morton, and Ricky Morton, like, dies?
Yeah. Who wants to do that?
Who wants to be that person?
It was awesome. And, like,
No,
usually, I appreciate that it was so awesome, because I'm one of those people that just goes, ugh, here we go. Legacy bullshit. And, like, I'm never a fan of those kind of spots. And I'm like, okay, they're going to get in the ring and it's going to be, like, a whole lot of nothing. No, they proved me wrong. Fucking awesome. That was great.
See, I like this kind of thing, too, because it was just a callback comeuppance from when Santana and Ortiz beat up the Rock and Roll Express when they were presenting the tag titles.
Yeah.
It was a comeuppance.
It was a good callback.
Yeah. And that's all it was. It was a simple comeuppance.
No, it was fun. It was fun.
Post-match, it didn't affect the match at all, which I liked.
Yeah. No, this was really, really fun.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Next match we had was Hangman Adam Page.
Hangman Page.
Versus Pac.
Doing some cowboy shit. It was fine.
Yeah, it was fine.
I feel
It was
so
a
bad.
decent match.
I feel so bad saying that because, like, on paper, that match was spectacular. On paper.
Yeah.
In ring, it was okay. I mean, it was fine. It was a good match. It wasn't bad by any stretch, but it was not like there were maybe 2 moments in the match, 1 or 2 moments where I'm like, okay, yeah, that was really dope. But I feel like the bar was raised so high later in the evening for me that I have a hard time clinging to this match. It was really, it was fun, but it was like, okay, it was nothing we haven't seen before.
This might be the one shock. This is probably the one finish I wouldn't have guessed was the fact that Hangman actually won this match.
Yeah.
I figured they would have had Pac win it.
I really did too.
But we may get that yet still because it's been announced they're rematching on Dynamite this coming Wednesday.
Awesome. See, now I think on Dynamite are they gonna main event? I assume they're gonna main event.
Who knows? I don't know.
Okay. If they main event, that'll be really, really good. I just feel like this was a really like high stakes, high energy pay-per-view. So the more the evening wore on, like the matches just got better. Like it built really beautifully. I will give AEW that. So maybe that's why this was just like, okay.
Next match was Shawn Spears versus Joey Janela. I actually really liked this match, as short as it was, too. Because
it was short. It was very short and clipped.
I mean, this match was only 11 minutes, 45 seconds, according to the Ring Bell to Bell. So, I mean, it was an okay match.
I know in the past I've said that, like, Joey Janela hasn't done it for me. Because, like, there's times when I'm just like, okay. I have to acknowledge and admit, he's one of the hardest working guys in the biz. And, like, everything he does, even if it's, like, kind of a if it doesn't strike me in the same way other matches do, I always remember that at least his character work and, like, he's consistent. Like, he consistently brings really good energy and good work to the ring, and I appreciate that. I really do. This was fun. I've been questioning, like, why isn't Penelope hanging out with him? We got that later.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
that I'm surprised you didn't know that ended a long time ago.
I know it ended a long time ago, but it's like I've always wanted to know, like, what the hell was going to happen with her. So it was like, was they going to have her come back out? Was it like, where were they going to go? Which we got, I think, like right after this match.
I don't know if it was right after this match, but yeah, it was a little backstage vignette thing.
I think it was because she's now they're letting Kip Sabian do the Joey Janela story. It's very strange. But whatever. No, this was fine. This was a good match.
It was nice to see Janela in a standard wrestling match, not a hardcore match.
Yes.
Not a, falls count anywhere match.
Mm-hmm. It was good.
But Shawn Spears wins, thanks to Tully Blanchard skullduggery.
Mm-hmm. It was good.
Yep. So next we had the 3-way tag team match for the AEW tag team titles, SoCal Uncensored, Lucha Brothers, and Private Party.
So I went into this very excited because my boys Private Party got thrown into this mix.
I honestly expected this match to be longer than it was.
I did too. I'm kind of surprised it was as short as it was.
Yeah, because this had
the potential to be a really long, high energy.
This was
good
the third shortest match of the night.
Mm-hmm.
At 13 minutes flat.
Yeah.
I got a couple of problems.
Go for it.
Did I expect the titles to change hands? No. Would I have liked to change hands?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I still think they made the mistake. They missed the mark by not putting these titles on new faces.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that...
Or even just giving them to the Lucha Brothers.
No, not even giving them to the Lucha Brothers. Putting them on new faces. I think that would have been the wisest thing to
Elevating someone new.
Elevate your new tag teams. You have to, we're not going to see Jurassic Express for a while because Luchasaurus is going to be out for a while with an injury.
Right, he's indisposed for a few months.
But do you realize they haven't won a match yet?
Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous.
Private Party has won matches, but not important matches.
Right. Like minimally important matches.
They beat the Bucks.
Yeah.
But then turned around and lost.
Yeah.
And then they beat Dark Order to get to this match, but then lose this match. Not only lose this match, eat the pin.
Right. And I will say, what I did appreciate was that Private Party looked like $1 million in this match. They looked fantastic. Everything about them looked awesome. They had great energy. They had great interaction with everybody. The moves were high impact. Everything about their work in this match stood out. Like, to me, they stood out more than anybody in this match.
Yeah.
I really feel like they did. So the match itself was really fun, if short-lived.
Yeah,
I would have liked it to be longer. I'm with you on that.
And then we got the payoff, though, as Christopher Daniels finally returned to TV post-match.
He pulled a Chris Jericho.
Yeah, he pulled a Chris Jericho.
It did. I appreciate that he did the Pentagon mouth makeup.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was good. Am I the only person that thought the Ankh looked stupid as hell?
It didn't bother me.
No, it didn't bother me. I just thought it looked stupid.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, we're still riding that train, I guess.
So next up, we finally get
some story.
The vignette to explain the story for the women's title match.
Right.
About Riho being trained by Emi Sakura.
By Emi Sakura.
Finally, we get that vignette. The vignette we didn't get during the pre-show. The vignette that we didn't get a week ago.
Yeah. This is part of the problem. And we've had some disagreements with people on this. Richard and I are both of the opinion that this story should have been told in full, in a lengthier process, and AEW did this match an extreme disservice by not showing this vignette and really riding on that narrative far more for a longer period of time. Like, doing it, like, even if they had just done it like a week ahead of time and really driven it home a couple times, it would have at least built some suspense in it. And I think part of that might be why the crowd went into this like, okay. Because they did wake up about halfway through the match.
They did. So, yeah.
Not that makes it better.
Somebody we were watching the pay-per-view with said that there was a story build-up because they mentioned it on AEW Dark. And I'm like, okay.
That's not good enough.
A commentator comment on AEW Dark does not build a story, in my own personal opinion.
No, it's not. It's not good enough.
And he said that he couldn't argue that point and wouldn't argue it.
Right.
Because... but, yeah, apparently they tried to build a story lazily by having commentary make a mention of the fact that Emi Sakura was Riho's teacher.
Yeah.
Trainer.
It felt lazy and just, I don't know, I just feel like it did this match a disservice. I really do.
I think that AEW made a mistake making Riho,
we both agree on
the
this.
initial champion.
And it's not that we don't like her. We love her, and I love that they're doing this with a Joshi wrestler. I think that's great.
I think that for us, it's fine.
Yeah.
For a majority of the crowd, though, they probably don't watch Joshi wrestling, don't understand a lot of, the pacing that Joshi wrestling does.
Yeah.
And therefore, it misses them.
Yes.
So maybe having a Joshi star, I get it, having a Joshi star win the title to try and bring focus to it and bring the eyes to the Joshi stars, but I don't think it's having the reaction that you hoped.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
I think Nyla Rose would have been a better choice.
I think Nyla would have been the best choice.
I could,
especially with all the lead-in they gave her going into All Out.
Yes.
Like, it's never made sense to me why they didn't put the belt on her.
I can even go so far as to say putting the belt on Penelope Cruz would have been fine. Because we got to see Penelope Cruz at All In. We got to see Penelope Cruz at All Out. Mm-hmm. Penelope Cruz has established herself as a good wrestler.
Yeah.
It's a name that people knew.
Right. And it's not that we dislike Riho.
No.
We love Riho. I love that they're elevating Joshi style wrestling. I love that they're bringing some of that narrative in. I'm totally down with it. I think it's great. But
I am okay with Riho being the champion right now.
Yeah, it's just, she might not
speaking-
have been the first choice.
I'm speaking outside of the box, saying that it might not have been the best for the everyday wrestling watcher.
And I do agree with you there. And I'm sure to some people that's going to be a really unpopular opinion. Again, emphasis, we like her. She's a great champion for us. She's a great champion for people like us. The problem is they're trying to appeal to a larger audience. It's kind of like,
Well,
like they gave Jericho the championship because let's be real. They did it because he's a big name. He's super well known. He was the big ticket that was going to bring new faces to watch the company. If you're going to elevate your women's division right out the gate, you probably could have done something similar. I mean, I seriously, they spent so much time building value and build into Nyla to just have her lose. And what the fuck have we seen since? We've seen her like once.
She's on AEW Dark.
Yeah, which is
They put her
fucking
on
ridiculous.
AEW
No,
Dark.
it's fucking ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous. I don't know. I love Riho. Let's talk about this match though, because like, this match was dope.
Yeah, no.
This was a really great match.
You could tell they've wrestled together.
Yeah, like the history was there. They worked well together. They were very synchronized. It was really good. I had no problems with this match. I saw some people on social media were even saying like these women stole the fucking show of the evening, and I think other than like the main event, I would agree with that. This was a fantastic match. They did a really great job. It was killer. Mm-hmm. It was super great match. I have zero problems with the match and the cadence, and everything about it was wonderful. Yeah. And I love Emi Sakura so much.
I do too. And I didn't realize how old she is.
Oh, yeah. She's what, like 42?
She is 39.
No, she said 42.
Pretty sure.
I don't think so.
Let me double check.
I'm going to Google it. Googling it right now.
I'm looking right now.
Emi Sakura.
No, she is 43. She
43.
is my age.
But I am.
She was born... Actually, I am just a little older than Emi Sakura. She was born in October. I was born in July.
She's been wrestling since I was 15 years old. Yeah. That's crazy. She's amazing. I love her. So, we finished with the women's match.
Yes. And we move on to the main event, which was Cody Rhodes versus Chris Jericho for the AEW World Championship.
Now, this is on the heels of arguably Cody's best promo of his career.
Yes.
Okay, wait, no. Before we move on to this, we have to talk about the killer in the room, because something weird happened after this women's match.
That happened after the...
Was it after the main event?
No, that weird thing happened after the pre-show women's match.
Okay, that's right. Because I'm sorry, we can
back up on that,
we'll back up on that a little bit later, because that was fucking amazing, and I do want to talk about that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I thought we were gonna do it later. I'll do it now.
No, do it now. Fine, we can back up.
We've had like 2-3 weeks of these like weird Brandy vignettes where we're like, is she a witch? What's she doing? She's like a dark, desperate housewife. We don't understand, right? Mm-hmm. She comes out with Awesome Kong, which we kind of they've alluded to, so we kind of knew that was gonna come.
Yeah.
Awesome Kong, as Accident Report put it, was literally like wearing all the weaves that she has snatched off of people over the years. Like, she's wearing a belt with dangling bits of hair. Just regular hair. Comes out to the fucking ring with Brandy as her valet. Also, Brandy, we need to talk about the number of Swarovskis you're wearing on your fucking costumes. As a belly dancer, I'm insulted. You need more. You need way more. You need way fucking more. Like, get some E6000 and save this girl from herself. Because, like, I have so many opinions. It was just boring. It was boring. It was like 13-year-old figure skater at her first competition. I was just not okay with it. It was so fucking wrong. Kong comes out and just fucking lays waste. And then Brandy hands her a goddamn, like, switchblade.
No, Kong had it on
I thought
her
Brandy
belt.
handed it to her.
And then she had it out, and then she handed it to Brandy, did the move or whatever on B. Priestley, and then got the knife back from...
Okay.
From Brandy.
She literally, like, cuts off a piece of B's hair.
Cuts off a lock of
of
hair.
her hair.
Starts smelling
it and shit. And Brandy's, like, cackling on the set. I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but, like, can I get, like, 5 weeks of just this? Because this is great. Like, I am here for Awesome Kong and anything she wants to fucking do. I'm here for it.
So Brandy's pulling some very, Facilier vibes, and apparently Awesome Kong is her friends from the other side. I mean,
I want her to walk up to Cody and be like, "Don't you disrespect me, little man." Like,
which I'm okay with. I'm cool with this.
I'm into it. It's hokey and it's fun,
Yeah,
and I'm super
they're
fine with it.
They're starting to build a story for this for the women's division.
Which good. I'm into it.
Yes.
Great. That's what we want.
I want to see where this is going.
Yeah. 100%.
We are getting a story started.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I cackled like a 5-year-old for this whole fucking thing. It was great.
And Awesome Kong is involved, which makes it
It's
even better. For me.
Like,
I mean, are we finally building to the Awesome Kong Nyla Rose match?
Please. That would be amazing.
I mean, we'll find out. So
Cody. Back to Cody.
Cody and Mr. Jericho. Le Champion.
Les Champions.
The match was good. Started out a little ugly, though, with a dive.
Well,
so, okay, let's
ramp.
talk about
Let's
this
talk about the
ramp.
Because everybody really liked it. I didn't see anybody that had a problem with it. Most people thought it was interesting and different, and like, fine. I'm not saying it was bad. I'm just saying it's weird.
It was interesting.
It was a weird choice.
It was different. I don't know that they were all used to it though, because Cody goes to do a suicide dive on that side, and
so you forgot that the floor is elevated there?
The floor was a little higher than he expected, and he face planted into the diamond plate ramp.
Now, I will say, the initial shot of it looked horrifying. Like, we were literally hands over our mouths. It looked awful.
Oh, yeah, no, it looked like he folded himself backwards.
Yeah. When they showed the recap, it was from a different angle. It was not as bad. It was just kind of an unfortunate clip on the face that he took. I was worried that he literally just, like, fucking cartoon, like, Superman, I have to go, my people need me, and just, like, face smash directly into the goddamn ramp, which he did not. He did roll a little bit. It was not as bad as it looked. So, because they kept that match going, and I was literally like, no, stop this. Throw the X. He needs to go. That's a lot of blood. This is not okay. What the fuck? Why does Cody have to bleed? Like, you breathe on that man, and he just fucking bleeds.
Yeah. So
he's his father's son.
This was unintentional blood.
Yeah.
But they got that blood under control really fast.
I'm pretty much convinced. See, and that's my problem. You know, like, they shoved some E6000 in there. Brandy, why couldn't you fucking use that to fix your outfit? You're gonna glue your man's face back together.
I mean, in just like 30 seconds, they managed to get that blood under control so he wasn't pouring blood out of his eye anymore.
Yeah, because that would have made the match impossible to go on.
Yeah.
And this was really early in the match. Like, this was the first big move of the match, I think. And, like, we were just like, okay, well, that's gonna end early. It did not. Cody kept going. This was a good match.
Yep.
With really good story build through the whole thing, because we had MJF in Cody's corner, and then we had
Jake Trumper.
Jake, I have a fucking all-team meeting tomorrow, so I'm wearing my polo shirt today. It's just awful. It was so stupid.
Okay. Jake Hager actually fits the narrative for Jericho.
No, he totally does. I'm not saying he doesn't. He makes a lot more sense than
Santana and Ortiz.
Yeah. Like, it makes so much more sense. I just, like, the sensible polo and khakis, every time he comes out, I'm like, do you work at Radio Shack? What's going on? It's very strange. Halfway through the match, I fucking love that they are continuing to build Aubrey as this, like, red shoes badass who takes no shit from anybody. Because Aubrey gets fucking sick of it, and she's like, listen, Jack Swagger, you're out of here. Goodbye.
Yeah, and no, the way they told that story, too, was, I can't prove you got involved.
I didn't see it, but I know you did it. I don't trust you.
I see the results of you doing it, but I can't prove that you did it, so I'm throwing you out.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And I love that they are just building Aubrey. She's the lead official. Like, they're building her story as the lead official. They're building her character as the lead. They let her have a ton of personality. Not that, like, Bryce doesn't have a ton of personality. It makes me so happy to watch people that we know who have never seen Bryce before AEW that are all on social media and they're like, yo, Bryce is baby. Like, Bryce is amazing. I'm like, we know. We love him. Like, I get like proud local vibes when we see him. It makes my heart so happy. But I love that Aubrey's like literally the Red Shoes of AEW.
Yeah,
she is. She's allowed to have personality and sass, and she kills it. She's so good. Like, ugh. I hate using this phrase, but like it's totally true. I stan this queen. Like she's fan-fucking-tastic. I hate it too, but like it's true. I love her.
Yes.
So yeah, she throws him out. MJF gets to stay at ringside. Now this is where I started going, okay, are we going to get the MJF turn on Cody now? Like, is he going to cost Cody the match? And we're like, okay. We were kind of waiting for it.
Okay. So here was my one problem. Because we saw how this was going to end.
Yes.
Because of camera angles.
Yep.
We saw MJF with the towel.
Right. Yeah, we saw it very blatantly. Because it was also a bright, white, fluffy, very big towel. It was a choice.
They needed to keep that off of camera.
Mm-hmm. Because it would have made it more suspenseful and it would have made the payoff much...
And then we saw... Jericho put Cody into the walls of Jericho. Mm-hmm. And he held him in there for a while.
A good-looking walls of Jericho, too.
Yeah,
like,
and
this one looked fucking fantastic.
Held him in it for a while. I mean, he was into it probably for a good 30, 45 seconds.
Yeah, it was a lengthy one.
Before MJF threw the towel into the ring.
And Cody was starting to fade.
Yes.
Like, you could see, it was good build, and we kind of, we knew what was coming. We're
yeah,
like, okay,
I'm disappointed that we saw MJF with the towel before, because...
Because it would have made it go, oh, shit! That would have been a great reveal.
What?
Yeah. And honestly, that, to some degree, was probably just, that's a botch on their part. I don't know if that was, MJF's problem, or if the production crew just, fucked up and accidentally showed it in advance. Either way, it did kind of kill the momentum of that for us a little bit. And I mean, let's be real, that's kind of a nitpicky thing for us to get about. Yeah. But there's not a lot else to get about in this match. This was a good match.
No, it was a good match.
It was fun.
Jericho wins via ref stoppage due to it was a MJF stoppage, actually. Yes. So
because MJF just throws in the towel for Cody. Ends the match. Aubrey calls it. We have this moment where MJF is in the ring looking just dejected, looking near tears. And I hate this because the person we were watching with was like, no, Matthew, don't cry. I don't want you to cry. Oh, buddy, hug it out. Hug it out.
Don't make us feel for you.
Yeah, how dare you make us feel feelings, you son of a bitch. Cody comes over. We're waiting to see what happens. They get very close. Hand on MJF's shoulder. It looks like he's gonna forgive him and everything's gonna be great.
So here's the thing. Okay, so we stop right here before the action. The genius of this is we didn't know who was going to turn.
Yes. And now understand, if you didn't get to watch the pay-per-view and you're not familiar, or this is your first dabble, the terms of this match was if Cody did not win, he will never challenge for the AEW championship title ever again. Yes. This was it. This was let's be real, in 2 years that stipulation's gonna have some kind of weird Triple H fuckery, but whatever. And again, this is just Cody's now gonna be more of the trips because he can control who gets to play for the belt and who doesn't. Yes. Based on wins and losses. Yada yada yada. But yeah, that's a great point. We had no idea who was gonna turn on who. Because let's be real, Cody's narrative for the last 2 years has been he's kind of an asshole sometimes. Mm-hmm. And just does shitty stuff. Cody has done some real heely stuff. Right?
Yes.
It was really good.
But yes, we do have MJF turning finally, kicking Cody in the nutsack.
Really hard too. It was good.
So
it was a nice ball sell. It was good.
Yeah, and immediately going from, that, I'm sorry look to that pompous
Yo, go-
MJF look.
Go fuck yourself. Yeah. And it's funny because, like,
strolling up the ramp. Okay, and now there is debate on whether this guy was a plant or not.
Oh my God.
Because the head of AEW security tweeted, "Never throw anything at our matches. You will be kicked out."
Yeah.
And we kicked this person out.
So, yeah, guy was right by the ramp, and he just threw a drink at MJF as MJF was going back to Gorilla.
See, no, if you look at it, though, that's a lot of liquid.
It was a lot.
That was like
of liquid.
a brand new drink, and it was like a super big gulp size amount of liquid. It's like, where did all this liquid come from in one cup?
So, also, I'm going to say this. I want to preface, under zero circumstances is it ever okay for anybody to chuck anything into a ring or add a talent. I dislike it. I know that we have friends in the wrestling industry that are like, Shannon, shut the fuck up. It happens all the time, and sometimes it's good. Hear me out, yo. I don't like it because, let's be honest, we've had really problematic experiences, especially with AEW crowds. I feel like that kind of thing emboldens people to act like assholes, which we really don't want. We don't want a bunch of lemmings following suit, right?
Okay.
That said.
Well, no, hang on. Because I saw a lot of, it happened to Hogan and to the NWO all the time.
It's not 1982 anymore.
The Attitude Era is over. Get over it.
Yes, Townsend.
Stop.
Yes, Townsend.
Stop.
Yes, Townsend. I completely agree with you. It's stupid as fuck. Now, all of that aside, I will admit, if I let my smarky side take over for about 5 seconds, if I was MJF and that was not a plant, I probably would have walked in back and laughed my fucking ass off, because that is exactly the kind of heat that you want. Right?
No, it was visually perfect.
Yeah, visually it was perfection.
It was actually visually perfect. The way the camera just happened to be on him.
Yeah, which is why it's like...
And it hits just right, and he turns around and looks at the guy and then just laughs and smiles. Visually, it was perfect. It almost looked planted.
Yeah, it did look planted, honestly.
I mean, and if it wasn't a plant, if it was some dude, MJF had to just be going, thank you. In his own mind, had to be going, thank you, because that just makes it look even worse.
Yeah, that said, please never fucking
Don't
do
do
that.
that shit.
It's so stupid. We move on
to
the final match of the night.
The final match, not the main event. The final match as the Lights Out match. A non-sanctioned, wins and loss, not recorded, anything goes match. To make up for the match we did not get at All Out, Jonathan Moxley versus Kenneth Jerome Omega.
I am still feeling all of the feels. I literally can't think of this match without grinning like a fucking idiot. And I hate death matches. And this was, I'm sorry if y'all disagree with me, this was a fucking carnival ride. Like, I was happy from start to finish. I completely understand that my reason for liking this match, like, they could have literally just murdered one another and I would have still probably enjoyed it to some degree. I'm biased because these are my two favorite guys in the business. And this was like a dream match for me. I have wanted this match for years. I have said on this podcast well before Mox was, back in like the Ambrose days, I wanted this match. I have said on this podcast back towards the beginning, I wanted this match before it was even a possibility. And we finally got this match. Your girl is still reeling and still riding high. This was ridiculous. It was fun. It was cringy in like a fun horror movie kind of way. I have very little to complain about in this match. Twitter does not agree with me.
No,
some Twitter at large is just like, no, Shannon, no.
PWI, Pro Wrestling Insider decided they wanted to tweet saying that the match was unnecessarily long, unnecessarily violent.
I have so much to say.
And there's a lot of people complaining about how we needed to see Jon Moxley in a not hardcore match to prove that he's a wrestler.
Okay, did you motherfuckers not watch the same match that we did? Because, like, Mox did some stellar shit in this match that had nothing to do with prop work, had nothing to do with it being a death match. Like, I saw some of the most quick, impactful, wonderful wrestling moves from him that I've ever seen. And I criticize his wrestling all the fucking time. There were times when I was just like, fuck, who are you? What is going on? It was so good. How can you criticize that? And also, Richard raised a really good point today when we were talking about this earlier. I'm not going to steal your thunder. I want you to explain why that logic also doesn't pan out.
Okay, so everybody's focusing on, well, Moxley needs to wrestle regular matches. Moxley, all we see are Mox hardcore matches. The same thing gets said about Joey Janela, too.
Right.
We only see hardcore matches. But here's the thing, though. I don't think the narrative of this was Mox needed to wrestle a regular match.
Right.
The narrative of this match was Kenny Omega needed to not be the super clean baby face anymore.
Yep.
How often have you seen Kenny Omega wrestle a death match?
Not often. Like,
I mean, other than chairs and table spots, you really don't see this kind of match out of Kenny.
I want to know whose job it was to sit backstage with a hot glue gun and hot glue like 50 mouse traps to a fucking board.
And so I went back and looked at this match.
Yeah.
I'm
going to watch this like 5 times.
Yeah. So the barbed wire bat and the barbed wire broom, they were real. Razor wire.
Yeah, that was
I'm sorry,
razor
they
wire.
were razor wire bat, razor wire broom.
Yeah.
Those were real. And they set the stage to make you believe everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was real blood.
Yep.
Doing the, the shots to the back. Doing the,
rubbing it
of
on the face.
Raking it on the shoulders and on the arm. It drew the real blood for everything else that was gimmicked.
Yeah, so much of this was gimmicked, and that's why I couldn't cringe over it.
The
so much of it was
glass.
Gimmicked. Yeah, the candy glass.
The mouse traps. Mouse traps, they may hurt for a second, but they're not dangerous.
No.
Not to mention, honestly, you know what was probably the most dangerous part about those mouse traps? Was the plastic paddle sticking straight up that might have broken.
Like a cheese?
Yes.
Because one of them broke off and was in the ring for like the rest of the match, and I couldn't stop laughing about it.
Yeah, because honestly, if you were to land flat back on a mouse trap, the mouse trap wouldn't trigger until you got off of it.
Yeah.
So the mouse traps, it was for show. The candy glass, because that's all it was. It was candy.
Well, and it
wasn't real glass.
They put an emphasis on the way it sounded. Like this was like straight up, like Foley work in the ring. They were like, oh, and even JR was like, oh, the sound of it. You can hear the tinkling of the sound, and like you could hear it. And Kenny was being Kenny and overly dramatic and like drawing it out. It was so good. The chain. Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah, the chain.
Like, that was fine.
The barbed wire
mattress pad.
Bedding, or the large barbed wire trap that they wheeled out. I don't want to ruin it for you, but if you look closely,
it was
the only part that was actually barbed wire was the edges that the camera focused on. The inside was just plain wire.
Yeah. It was not super dangerous. It was, and even the people that were digging them out were like playing it up. Like every single person in this match played it up. The ref counted 1, 2, 3, acted like he got glass in his hand and was fixating on it. Like the acting in this match from everybody involved, including the people on the sidelines, people in the back, it was fucking perfection. Everybody did their job and did it beautifully.
Everything else that was done in that match, though, was pretty standard, even WWE style stuff. The tables, the chairs.
But they for most people, I think most people missed a lot of that because, like, it sucked them in. and they thought it was legitimate. And it gave Kenny an opportunity to, like, play into this, like, losing my brain narrative that's been going on since he started this feud with Mox.
Yes.
And it was good. Like, it was good theatrics. It was just fun. It was just fun. And, like, yeah, it was cringy fun. But you know what? Like, a lot of people like to go to horror movies and freak themselves out for the same fucking reasons.
Yep.
And that's what this was. This movie, this was like, this was just hokey, cabin in the woods style wrestling to me. I knew exactly what props they were going to go into. They both look like $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of beer thrown around. My personal favorite spot in the match, they were out of the ring and they're running around, and Kenny gets up on the side barricade just as they get back to ringside. And his back is to Mox, and it's like he's gonna do his backwards like moonsault onto him. And Mox catches him, just puts his hands right on Kenny's butt cheeks. Just like gets a big old cup full of Omega booty and just shoves him like 5 feet away and then starts laughing. This, like, that right there, I couldn't stop laughing. And I'm like, this is just going to be a roller coaster ride of fun that I'm going to, like, I'm putting my hands up and I'm just going to, like, let the G-forces do what they will to me. I'm safe. Everything's fine. I'm just going to enjoy the thrill of this match. This was so fun.
It was.
It was so fun.
Also, I'm not surprised at the fact that Mox won the match.
Yeah, no, great. The Elite had kind of a rough night with the exception of Hangman.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, Hangman was the only member of the Elite who won tonight.
Mm-hmm. And I'm super into it. It's good. It's a good narrative.
But then, SCU won, which is part of the Elite group.
Yeah, but they're not like the Elite, the Elite.
No.
Like, that's different. It was a rough night for the Elite. That capped it. And it was a long pay-per-view, too.
It was like 3.5 hours. That match was the longest of the matches.
Mm-hmm.
That match had a time of... Let me pull that up real quick. I had that. 38 minutes, 45 seconds. It was the longest match of the night.
Okay. So, in the aftermath, we have a little bit of news, I believe. There's a couple of little tie-in pieces that we want to at least mention.
Cody Rhodes probably not going to be cleared to wrestle for 3 to 4 weeks. He had 8 stitches in his eye from the faceplant into the ramp, as well as a separated rib.
Ouch. That's the part that made me cringe.
Mm-hmm.
Yuck.
So, yeah, he will be out for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
We also, apparently, Joey Janela might have been hurt.
Ooh. I hadn't read that. That's news.
Yeah, Joey Janela. After the match, Janela remained in the ring where numerous medics, agents, and referees came out to check on Janela after his match. He might have taken a little bit too much of the pile driver on the floor, but apparently he's okay. So, good on that.
Awesome. That's good news.
Tony Khan has spoken how AEW is likely going to have 4 pay-per-views a year.
That's a good number.
Yep. So they want to do quarterly. Next one will be Double or Nothing 2, which will be happening in Las Vegas on Memorial Day weekend again in May.
Okay. So we've got like...
that actually won't be the next one. But
no, I was going to say that doesn't check out. They should have one more.
Although they may. They might.
They may just push it. I guess we'll see. I mean...
we also they will be doing All Out in Chicago again.
Awesome. All right. Well... we'll have to think on that one.
He also said, though, that he wants to head to Canada and London next year.
That would be amazing.
So
good.
Canada and London, you will probably be getting the other 2 pay-per-views next year.
Give that UK crowd a show. That's something I think more promotions need to do is get their asses over the pond and go do some major pay-per-views over there.
Yeah, so overall, what kind of a grade would you give this pay-per-view?
Are we doing like what scale of 1 to 5 or?
Yeah, give it a 1 to 5.
I give it about a 4.
Give it a 4.
Yeah,
solid B.
A solid B. I would say even like a B plus. It fell short of being like. It was not the spectacle that like Wrestle Kingdom always is for me. Like Wrestle Kingdom is always for me going to be like, unless they have a really fucking drab year. Like, Wrestle Kingdom to me is the best of, like, the big pay-per-views. I actually enjoy it more than, like, Mania or anything else. On a pay-per-view scale, like, this lacked that to me. Like, it lacked something. It lacked a little bit of oomph. But, like, that main event was so fucking fun for me. Well, not the main event, but, like, the
last match of the evening.
Unsanctioned match. Was so much fun for me. The women's match really elevated everything, but they fell short in a few places. And I think they still have to work some stuff out. They misstepped. Kind of like the towel thing being seen a little too early kind of ruined it for me. I feel like they could have had one more match in the dark matches. So I feel like, yeah, a B is a solid grade for this. What do you think?
I would give it a strong B.
Yeah,
strong B.
Like a mid to like B plus.
Yeah, I would say
around there.
I was entertained enough by all the matches.
Yeah.
There was no match that I was not at least entertained by. I mean, there were no matches that I was just like, okay, I can go do something else. I watched pretty much every match.
Yeah.
You know, I couldn't use
Solid.
my phone because we were streaming it from my phone. So
I know. I apologize.
I didn't get to use my phone. Hopefully, we'll be able to...
I tweeted through Married Marks.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, that's something that we're trying to do a little bit more when we're watching something. I try not to, like, I'm not glued to it the whole time because I do want to watch the fucking matches.
Yes.
But I do try to tweet about all the matches. I do try to, we want to be engaged with you guys. So make sure you follow us on social media or on Twitter. That's usually where we post our opinions and thoughts. We try not to delve too deep because we kind of delve in on the show after. But, join us for some tweeting. It's always sassy. It's always fun. Sometimes we spill some tea. And you'll have a good time.
And then I guess real quick, shout out to our buddy Karen, who is going to Wrestle Kingdom.
Right. You're not saying that right. Karen!
So big shout out to Karen, who is going to Wrestle Kingdom.
I'm excited.
We're very excited for you. We might have to send you some money.
I think so. Well, I've done that already.
Yeah.
But, I think we should do it again.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, at some point, we need to get together with Karen and discuss standings.
Yeah.
And count some things. And to talk about little tag league action.
Yes.
Because, we got some Toriano Colt Cabana bullshit to discuss.
I agree.
We'll get to that maybe later this week. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
So overall, I think it was a good weekend for wrestling.
Solid weekend for wrestling. Had a really good time. And now I'm just looking forward to the next Ballantine show we got coming up here.
Yeah,
in
coming
the
up
city.
soon at the end of the month.
Counting it down, baby.
Yeah, well, until then, for the Married Marks, I'm Richard Townsend.
I'm Shannon Townsend.
And we will talk to you on Friday.
Make good choices.